Hello, everyone, and welcome to part two of my press conference roundup. Of course, we're speaking ahead of game week 2, and it is Friday. We've already heard from 13 managers, still waiting for Forest Steve Cooper to speak. But for now, we'll go live. And of course, you can check out our social media channels at Premier Injuries or at Ben Dinnery or the PremierInjuries.com injury table for all of the latest news. By the time this is live, then it may well be that Nottingham Forest update has happened. Okay, so we'll go through today's in alphabetical order. And of course, we're going to kick off with Arsenal. We've heard from Mikel Arteta. Couple of updates here. Basically, everybody has trained. What we do know, Takehiro Tomiyasu played for the under-21s last weekend, so he's fighting fit and in contention. We also seen a return to the training pitches, Emile Smith-Rowe and Fabio Vieira. Now, Mikel Arteta wouldn't say which of those players would be involved, only some. Now, he also mentioned that Kieran Tierney, he came on as cameo at Selhurst Park, was in perfect condition. Now, does that put question marks maybe over the availability of Zinchenko in that starting 11? Of course, what Zinchenko brings to you going forward, he lacks defensively, and Tierney most definitely is a preferred choice. We've also seen Ben White training this week, been no mention of any problems, but that, I think, was that right knee has been taped. So that's just something to be aware of. Wasn't great at Crystal Palace. Obviously a difficult opponent in Wilfried Zaha. But yeah, so basically a clean bill of health down at Arsenal. For Aston Villa, Steven Gerrard, again, Tyrone Mings, he has been managing an ongoing adductor issue that kept him on the bench last weekend, but also question marks with regards to his performance. Steven Gerrard wants him to, reach to those previous levels to really force his way back in. He's missing out after that summer signing come in. Carlos took his place alongside Ezri Konsa, but Tyrone Mings has trained Thursday and Friday, so he has absolutely fine. The only other issue is Courtney House. He had knee surgery earlier in the summer, and he is out of contention as it currently stands. For Brentford, Mikael Damsgaard, the new signing, is not in contention for a start, but Thomas Frank believes that he could have some kind of involvement from the bench. Of course, Brentford came from 2 goals behind to take a draw with Leicester on Sunday. Christoph Ayer and Sergi Canos, with 2 thigh-related problems there. They're both targeting to return maybe next week. If not, the game week after that, game week 4, is a realistic target. We still have nothing definitive in terms of that return to play date for Ethan Pinnock. That's a knee injury that seemed to be stretching on for quite a while now. Now, Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea, obviously involved in a London derby this weekend, but they will be without Mateo Kovacic. That's a knee problem. This isn't anything new. We've seen him training away from the main group during pre-season and also absent from some of those non-competitive games. So the decision, I don't know if there's been a setback or that's been exacerbated, but he certainly won't be involved this weekend. And similarly, Marcus Alonso, he hasn't been training with the squad as he looks to finalise a deal to Barcelona. So both of those players out of contention. For Crystal Palace, we've heard from Patrick Vieira. Great news. With regards to Michael Elise, he aggravated a foot problem with the French under-21 team back in May. He's been cleared to resume duties and he could make the matchday squad on Monday night at Anfield. However, unfortunately, there's been another setback for Nathan Ferguson. There seems to be ongoing issues from Achilles to knee to hamstring. Now, this latest setback, I understand, is to be a foot problem. Patrick Vieira didn't discuss anything about the specifics of the injury or a time frame, but we understand at this point we're looking at around about that 2-month mark. The game also comes too soon for James Tompkins and James McArthur. For Everton, Frank Lampard didn't discuss team news or injury updates in any great detail. What we do know is Ben Godfrey, he had surgery on Monday. That's likely to keep him out until after the World Cup, so a potential return in December. And also Yerry Mina, ankle ligament issue, and he's meeting with a specialist this week. So those two look to be long-term. That probably prompted him to move quickly in the market and bring in Connor Cody. Now, he will be in and around that squad. I suspect he will come in for his full debut. Elsewhere within that Toffee squad, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we're probably looking at mid-September. Tom Davies is one of those who should be in and around the team. He was due to train with the group this week. However, lack of fitness may impact on that. Frank Lampard did discuss the importance of Alex Iwobi and his versatility and sitting in that number 6 role. So again, that may be a slight indication or a hint that Tom Davies isn't quite 100% to sit in there. Also, Alan, who's also been managing ongoing issues throughout the summer. Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp spoke about Thiago Alcantara. Now, we know that's a hamstring issue that forced him off at Craven Cottage. There's talk around about a 4 to 6 week. The reality is it's probably closer to 6. Jurgen Klopp is fairly optimistic or very hopeful that it's going to be in and around that month, but we'll wait and see with that. Good news is Naby Keita has recovered from illness, so he does come into contention, but we have a boatload of problems at Anfield. Curtis Jones still out, Diego Jota still out, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Ibrahima Konate look long-term. Tsimikas, he's a player that was due to train on Thursday, so providing he comes through that session okay, and on Saturday, then he could be included. For Manchester City, Pep, there's a couple of little niggles here. Now, we know that Cole Palmer has a problem with his feet. That's going to almost keep certain to keep him out. And Calvin Phillips, obviously on the fringes of that starting 11 with Rodrigo, typically getting a nod. He's managing niggles at the moment, so he may not be risked. Aymeric Laporte, he's still around about a month away after undergoing knee surgery as well, back in around about June. For Manchester United, Anthony Martial and Victor Lindelof, they were both ruled out of game week 1. Eric Ten Hag basically said where the squad should be more or less the same, so we're not expecting either of those two players back. With regards to Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, we've seen Christian Eriksen deployed as a 9 at the weekend. Didn't quite work out, so the indication is that we could see Cristiano Ronaldo leading that Manchester United front line. He's trained all week. He's looking good. Ten Hag said he has made a decision, but he wasn't willing to divulge what that was at this moment in time. For Newcastle, my hometown club, Eddie Howe suggested that Dan Burn will look to keep his place in that backline, particularly off a good performance against Nottingham Forest. Eddie Howe talked about the continuity in that backline, the reason as to why Sven Botman was on the bench, who, by the way, looks to have a great future and has trained really well this week. The only other main talking point for the United camp is the fact that John Joe Shelvey underwent hamstring surgery. Again, we're looking at around about 3 months, so he'll be lucky to play before that World Cup. Tottenham, Clement Lenglet. Now, he's had it's not an injury as such, it's a more of a fatigue-related problem, a slight complaint around the groin. That means that Antonio Conte, it will probably not risk him in this Sunday's derby. Oliver Skip is around about a couple of weeks away. I think Tottenham will be unchanged after that win in game week 1. They're currently top of the league, of course, on goal difference. For West Ham, big talking point, lots of questions with regards to Fabianski. The long and the short of it is he hasn't trained as yet. He took an impact injury into that hip region. That resulted in a dead leg. The problem is the game's on Sunday, so we still have one final session, which means we cannot give a definitive answer in terms of where Fabianski is in his recovery. I would say at this point, it looks unlikely, but we can never categorically say that the goalkeeper will be ruled out. Mikel Antonio picked up a knock, but he trained on Friday. Craig Dawson missed out in game week 1 due to a thigh strain. He's in and around it, shouldn't be too far away. Angela Ogbonna also playing for the under-21s as he builds fitness. And finally, for this particular roundup, Wolves Raul Jimenez, he's ruled out. We know that's an MCL and an adductor problem. And also João Moutinho. He was a late withdrawal from the squad last week following a training ground injury. That's a foot problem. Adama Traore and Nelson Semedo, those two players have trained, but they missed a large section of that preseason. Semedo missed it all. Traore just a part of it. So neither of those are fully up to speed. I would suggest that Traore is probably in a better place in terms of where his fitness and sharpness is, just because it's only been less than a month since he's been sidelined. So that's it of part 2 for your press conference roundup. Part 1 went live on Thursday, so if I haven't covered anything here, then you can by all means check that out. That's Leeds, Brighton and so on, Southampton, and of course we still have Nottingham Forest to come, so please check out the socials. Good luck everyone, green arrows to all, apart from those in my mini league, and yeah, we'll see you all again very, very soon.